Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our fourth lesson on graphs. So far, we have done line graphs, bar graphs, and I can't remember the first type of graph we did. And today we're going to do histograms. This should be an easy one because histographs are basically bar graphs. They're almost the exact same thing. The difference between a histograph and a bar graph is that the width of a histograph matters. Where in a bar graph, the width was just however wide we wanted to make it. So for instance, if you look at this, you'll see this is a histograph. And the reason why it's a histograph is because the width of the graph is giving you a range. So these are airplanes scheduled to land. This says that there is 2 planes ready to land. And when those planes are landing is in between midnight and 6 a.m. So the width here actually makes a difference. Where on bar graphs, the width always just represented one thing. Right? Like if you look at the second bar, this says that 3 planes are landing. We don't know exactly when they're landing, but we know they're landing from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Somewhere in that range. I don't know if all 3 planes are landing at 6:30. I don't know if they're spread out, but I know that there will be 3 planes landing from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. That's it. So a histogram is basically a bar graph. It's just that the width is giving you a range of when things happen. Cool. If we look at letter A, how many planes were scheduled to arrive between 2 and 3? So let's look for 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. When you're doing military time, right, this is noon. 13 would be 1 o'clock. 14 would be 2 o'clock. 15 would be 3 o'clock. So from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock would be this many planes, which is 4 planes. So in between the hours of 2 to 3, there would be 4 planes landing. Question number 2. What is the busiest 3-hour stretch? Well, if we're looking at the busiest 3-hour stretch, you're looking for 3 bars that are the biggest or 3 bars that are the highest. I would say from here, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. This would be our biggest 3-hour stretch from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Awesome. Next question. How many planes landed during the busiest 1-hour period? Well, the busiest 1-hour period, there's 3 of them all tied. So if you look, the busiest 1-hour period would be all the way up here. This is the busiest. This is the busiest. This is the busiest. They're all tied. They have 10 hours or 10 planes landing in 1 hour. Part D, how many planes could have landed between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m.? We don't know. That's a tricky one, right? So because 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. landed between midnight and 6 a.m., and there was 2 planes that landed in between midnight and 6 a.m. So between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., you could have had 0 or 1 or 2 planes. We don't know, right? We know that from midnight to 6, there was 2 planes. Were those planes from 3 to 4 a.m.? We don't know. So we say, well, it could have been none of them, could have been one of them, or it could have been 2 of them. Cool, that's a histogram. So that's all we're really doing today, which is kind of nice. So if you didn't finish your bar graph stuff yesterday, this would be a good day to kind of go back and review it. All right, let's draw some histograms. So we got some information here. We got the number of people who took beginner surfing lessons in January or in 2009. We got different times of year. So this first one, right, we're going to do April 1st to April 14th. Then we're going to go to April 30th. Then we're going to go to May 14th. Then to May 31st. And then to, let's see how many there's going to be here. Yeah, we're going to keep going. So then the next one would be June 15th. Then June 30th. And then July, I'd go JY for July. 15th, July 31st, August 15th, August 31st, September 15th, September 30th. And then up the left-hand side, you'll see the biggest number I have to get to is 30. So remember, our trick is to make the top one 30, count how many bars there are, and then divide it. So if we count the number of bars, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 would be right there. So to make this easy, we're just going to count every one of those bars as 1. Again, you might not want to write all of them. So the first one would obviously be 0. I'm going to do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 15. 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. 25. And 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 30 right there. All right. Now we can make our histogram. So we always got to take that time to kind of set up those edges, right? To fill this in, it says there was 4 people from April 1st to 14th. So that means from the 1st to the 14th, there was 4 people. Next one. 5 people. So it goes from there to there. The next one is 9 people. So it would go up to here and over. The next one is 11 people. The next one is 21, big jump up to here. Next one is 16, so it drops a bit. Then we got 30, which is way up here at the top. Then we got 23. 25. 29. 11. And then down to 8. Awesome. And that is what our histogram would look like for the number of people who took beginner surfing lessons in 2019. Again, the benefit of the histogram versus a bargram is a histogram gives you some sort of range on the width of your bar, right? These were 15-day widths. So you can kind of see that from July or June 30th or June 1st, July 1st to July 15th was the busiest time. We don't know if all those people came on one day, but we know within those 14-day period, that was the most number of people that came. And that's kind of the benefit of a histogram, is it gives you like a range that you can kind of specify how wide you want that range to be. Awesome. Down here, we have an example to create a frequency table for a histogram. So it's the same idea. We're going to try to create this chart on the left, so a temperature and then a frequency table, so how often it happened. We'll start with the lowest temperature we see here. I think the lowest temperature I see is 4. It only happens one time, I believe. The next temperature we would look at would be 5. I also only see it one time happening. The next highest temperature looks like it's 8. And it looks like it happens twice. The next highest temperature we see is 9. I see it 3 times. The next highest temperature that we see is 10. I only see 10 once. The next highest temperature we see is 11. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. Next highest we see is 12, and there's a couple of them, I think. 1, 2, 3. Next highest temperature we see is 13. 1, 2. We're going to keep going on this chart. We see 14. 1, 2 there. I'm going to show you why histograms are nice. 15. 1. Oh, I see an extra 14 that I missed. 15 degrees is once. 14 degrees actually happened 3 times. There was another one right there. 16 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to keep it going. 17 degrees happens once. 18 degrees. 1, 2. 18 degrees is 2. 19 degrees. 1, 2. And our last one, 21 degrees. Now, if you were to make a bar graph for this, that would be ridiculous, right? So if I was like, okay, here's all these temperatures, make a bar graph for these temperatures. You would have to make, look how many different bars you'd have to make. You'd have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different bars for that thing. That's craziness, right? Like you're not going to make a 14 bar graph. So instead what you can do is you can do ranges, which allows you to then group things together, right? So instead of saying, okay, this first bar is just going to be 4 degrees, I could say this first bar will be 4 degrees to, I don't know, let's do 6 degrees. And that allows us to like group things together. I'm actually gonna let's do 7 degrees. I think 6 degrees wouldn't fit. Right? And then I can group things together. So I can say, all right, now instead of making all these separate groups, I'm just gonna pair these up and say that in total it happened 2 times. So that means I will make a bar that goes too high for 4 degrees to 7 degrees. And then I'm going to do, okay, what about from 7 degrees, which will technically be 8 degrees. So from here will be 8 degrees to 11 degrees. I can now clump those up. So I look here and I go, all right, from 8 degrees to 11 degrees, there was 5, 6, there was 10 total. And I can draw that bar up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I can group them all together. And this saves me from having to do all those bar graphs by just grouping my work together. The next one, I'm going to say, all right, let's do 12 degrees up to 15 degrees. Well, if I look, 12 degrees to 15 degrees is all these. 3, 5, 3, 6, 9. There's 9 total there. So I go up to 9 and I make my graph. The next bar I would do, let's do from 16 degrees to 19 degrees. 16 degrees to 19 degrees has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this saves me from having to do all those bars, right? My last one will be 19 degrees to 22 degrees, which is just this one time it happened right there. And these ranges, they just allow you to group things together to reduce the number of bars you actually have to do. It allows you to give a little bit of a cleaner looking graph than all those bar graphs combined. Awesome. Hopefully that helps you kind of appreciate why histograms exist. If you didn't finish any of your previous lessons because today's is so short, maybe go back and watch those other ones. Awesome. Take care.